Albert Einstein once said, "There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle." A story is like a map through time, and as with any map, you have to know where you start for it to be of any use. One of the oldest stories of humanity's origin came from the Sumerians, who tell of an alien race called the Anunnaki. They were advanced beings that came to Earth for resources, and they genetically altered early man to create a workforce that could gather the resources for them. This would explain the signs of genetic editing found in human DNA, and it would also explain the so-called missing link between cavemen and modern humans. But there is more to the story. In Genesis, we are told of a forbidden fruit that alters the nature of whoever eats it, changing creatures with no concept of good or evil into beings that could consciously make that distinction. After eating the fruit, they became aware of their nakedness and covered themselves up. We only recognize things in contrast: light versus dark, cold versus hot, near versus far, etc. The only reasonable conclusion is that they had seen a being that was not naked to create an awareness of the concept. The term fruit is used in the Bible in reference to offspring, as in the fruit of your loins. The Anunnaki were forbidden from mating with the genetically altered humans, because this act would create hybrid offspring, or in other words, it would create forbidden fruit that would share traits of the Anunnaki, making us like them. There is a catalyst in both of these stories that creates the same effect: a fundamental change in the nature of humanity. Both stories also tell of beings that came from somewhere other than Earth. The current scientific model starts with the Big Bang Theory, which states that, at some point, everything in the universe was compressed into a very small point, a speck. Nothing else existed, just this unimaginably dense speck. There was no direction, and there was no time. At some point, this speck exploded and spread all the elements outward in an expanding pattern, forming into everything we see in the night sky, as well as Earth and all life upon it. This theory only works if the universe ends somewhere, because if the universe is infinite, then there is no way it could be contained in any finite space, no matter how much you compressed it, because there would always be more. The idea of an infinite universe may be hard to grasp, but the idea of a border with nothing on the other side is beyond reason. How would that even work? Would there be a wall of nothing? The Big Bang is just a theory. Scientists theorize that life began when elements and chemicals mixed together in just the right conditions, creating a single-celled organism that evolved into everything living on the planet today. A single-celled organism is the simplest form of life that we know of, but it is far from simple. There is no conceivable way for biological life to begin out of raw elements by random coincidence. It is also hard to explain how interdependent life forms, such as bees and flowers, could have evolved into existence at the same time, without some underlying pattern or energy guiding the process. Solar systems and galaxies mirror the patterns we see on the atomic level, and the toroidal field of Earth is mirrored by the energy fields emitted from the human body. We see glimpses of the big picture through ancient texts, philosophy, and science. but no one can say that they fully comprehend life, much less its source. We separate and dissect things to understand them, but to see the full picture, we have to put the pieces back together. By definition, we are the fruit of the source of life. We know this source by many names, and the story we believe about it colors our perception of reality in a significant way. The idea that life is unique to Earth falls apart whether you look through the lens of religion or scientific probability. And acknowledging this as reality opens a new door of possibility for us to walk through. The end of one chapter marks the beginning of the next. And as the tree must let go of last season's leaves to make room for the new ones, we must drop old ideas to make way for something new.